So, it's not going to work so well. And I don't know if that looks particularly good with that sunlight streaming down. So let's put this in the shade here. And doesn't he look handsome? Perfect. Right. Okay. So look, we've got.
Why don't you sit here?
No, because you're the star. You be closer. Oh yeah, I see. Oh, it's flipping around. So we're going to have to do a round so far interview where you can talk to the camera, but we'll have to. Anyway, so the tradition is we've got our coffee. Coffee on? No, that sounds a bit Russian, doesn't it? Where my coffee's better than your coffee. We're always trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
And that has worked reasonably successfully so far because I'm the one that's been winning the most.
I don't think I've had an opportunity to take you to my coffee shop.
Hang on. We're on.
Are we?
Yeah, okay. So, osteochondrosis, osteochondritis, Here we go. Got the great pleasure of being with the man himself, looking at osteochondrosis, osteochondroses, plural conditions. But why did you pick that topic? You've got a new program, you've got a new CPD course happening here.
Well, it is a fabulous new course, Ted. It's called Osteochondroses of the Foot and Leg. Voila, here comes Le Cafe.
Oui, ciao. Full cream, skim is coming.
Mix it up with a little bit of Italian, that's good. Because I don't think that people have got a very good handle on the osteochondrosis of the foot and leg. A very good handle at all. And I think most people think, yeah, it's easy. I know about Seaver disease, I know about Kohler's disease, I don't know about osteochondrosis disease, but I don't reckon they do. And what's more, I think that possibly we may not be treating these conditions properly.
Now, so let me ask first thing. You just rattled off 3 diseases.
Yeah.
Are they actually diseases?
Well, this is a great question. You see, I like to call them diseases because I know that Seaver's disease was named by J.W. Seaver in 1912. And I'm a great history buff, so why would I call it calcaneal apophysitis when I can honour Mr. Seaver? But what you may not know is the condition was first described by a bloke called Patrick Haglund. Now, did you know that? There's Haglund's deformity.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, he got things a bit backwards then, didn't he?
He was
posterior was the problem.
He was the first bloke to actually identify it as calcaneal apophysitis. Seaver only identified it as heel pain in overweight children.
Huh. Right. Okay. So then we've got a range of different conditions. What are the key? Let's go back to key problems as practitioners. So if we're in a clinical situation, are these conditions? You mentioned we may not have a good handle on. What's the problem? Why aren't we?
Well, I think there's a lot of confusion. So I think a lot of people don't actually even understand the difference between osteochondritis and osteochondrosis. Now, do you understand the difference there?
Chondritis and chondrosis. Well, one's got a T, the other's got an extra S.
So one has an itis on it, right? Which we presume means inflammation, which is not supported by the pathology, the histology. So it seems like it's not primarily histological. So it's probably poorly named. But what we know, and this is really important because it drives the. Thank you very much. Because my coffee's just arrived, lovely. Because it drives the way you treat these conditions. So the main difference here is that osteochondrosis is a condition that affects either the epiphysis or apophysis. Okay, so the growth area of a long bone. Whereas the osteochondritis is where the cartilage is affected, becomes necrotic, and the bone underneath is affected. Okay. So
key distinction there. If you're going to take 1 point away, that would be it.
Well, it's not only that. The main distinction is that the osteochondritis conditions tend to be long-term and non-resolving, whereas most of the osteochondroses resolve completely. And so there's a big difference. And there's also the question of the role of trauma. So what we know about the osteochondroses is they are overuse injuries. They're not caused by a traumatic insult. So it's a key clinical distinction.
Okay, so then what about the self-limiting factor? Are osteochondroses limited to growing bones?
This is a fabulous question. So we always talk about things like Osgood-Schlatter disease, and we say yes, it's a self-limiting condition. Once the secondary ossification centre in the anterior tibia has fused, no more problem. That's the dogma. That's completely wrong. And what we know, Ted, is that about 60% of all people who suffer from Osgood-Schlatter's disease will still have pain and discomfort and disability up to 9 years after the event. And the condition is described in people aged between 10 and 45 years of age. So it is not self-limiting. And this is also possibly the case with calcaneal hypophysitis and Seamus disease. So it's a very interesting key differentiation that we've been following this dogma all these years, and it's probably not accurate.
So would there be a fair chance that in your course, osteochondrosis of the foot and leg coming to you right now, all you have to do is pay and register, and then you're up and running.
And it's cheap.
Cheap is... We're going to come to that. Sorry, what was my question?
Something about the dogma and whether it's self-limiting or not.
Yes.
I'm so disturbed by this. I'm going to have a sip of coffee.
Let's do that. Okay, let's let the review here. How is that?
Sorry, I was concentrating on your question.
No,
so I'll have to come back to that. I'll come back to it in a minute.
So we've got the management issue from a clinical perspective. In the course, are you providing clinical differentials and then actual treatment options for these conditions, given now thinking, don't worry, you'll go out of it?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a comprehensive course. It's about, if you do all the reading, which you must, it's 40 hours plus of CPD, so it's quite a bit. And we divide it into a general section, so we talk about the osteochondroses and we talk about general characteristics. We talk about cool things like that you may not know, like there is a period of transient bone demineralization in adolescence. It goes away, but it's a key window of opportunity for injury in adolescence. So we talk about all that sort of stuff as a general painting the picture. And then we jump into the conditions. So we do the osteochondrosis of the extensive mechanism, which is Osgood-Schlatter disease, extending lasting Johansson, and we break that down into lessons. So we talk about general considerations, we talk about etiology, we talk about investigation, we talk about management, we have videos, descriptive videos, so it's very, very comprehensive. One interesting point here, Ted, again, something you may not know, is that when we talk about osteochondroses versus osteochondritis, they actually, I think probably osteochondritis is a subset of the osteochondrosis, because if we look at Kohler's disease, for example, Kohler's disease is actually probably an osteochondritis because we get a change to the bone as a result of probably osteonecrosis. Okay? So we call that an articular
Is that the long
osteochondrosis,
macchiato we have at night?
which is different to a joint or a prophecy or
Everyone has a very good idea of a long macchiato, and that's okay.
And for those of you particularly interested in the most magnificent manual therapy for e.g. foot mobilisation therapies, you'll know that one of the contraindications is when we've got talar osteochondrosis.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, so
that's
I
not
remember when I was
personal,
learning to make coffee, a long macchiato is a touch of water, a shot of coffee, and a scoop
This is
of
the
milk.
actual
But then they have something like half of
Yeah.
it. Whereas these days, when they say long macchiato, they
How
kind
is
of
that
want
being
in
managed?
between that.
Well, if we just jump back to
So hopefully I nailed it.
Freiberg
Let me know.
infection, for example, so we consider an osteochondrosis of the head of the second metatarsal hair usually, although it can occur in the second, third, or fourth. But the reason it's different is that it is generally non-resolving. In other words, it provides permanent disability, which can lead to joint dysfunction, and that may well be one of these articular osteochondroses that leads us into surgical management, and that's a very unusual management form. So we talk about all this in the course. The key question is, why do these things occur? And you're talking about osteochondritis of the talus. So the interesting thing here is that when you, as you're a developing athlete or a developing person, initially you have your primary blood supply to the secondary ossification centre along the periosteal channels. They're called the cartilage channels, and they supply all the blood supply to the cartilage. Okay? What happens around adolescence or even earlier is there's this, I love physiology, so there's this amazing change in the blood supply, where the blood supply no longer comes from the cartilage channels, so in the periosteum, but it has to come from the medullary cavity. So it actually swaps. And then it has to form anastomosis. And these anastomoses quite often fail, and that's why you have an osteoporosis. Okay, so it's an interruption to the blood supply. That's what we think is happening.
Okay. So speaking of physiology, there's a very important physiological fact that you need to appreciate right now, and that is academic, intellectual capacity takes its toll.
Neither of which we have, by the way.
Hair follicles. When you listen to this guy talk, how can you not be impressed by the physiology distinctions? I've already picked up 4 key elements here I had no idea about. And what you'll notice is I got plenty of hair still on top here. So, yeah, no, I know it. Okay, but so it's no question that the comprehensive, the detail that you get in this course, what its course says, because this is the thing, I went to try and do a little bit of research here and advanced investigation so that I could look half intelligent, and because I wanted to jump into Sever's disease, and of course why it's not an actual disease, but we've already covered that, and I clicked on it and it said you haven't done the previous videos, so is there a chronological reason before I can't jump?
Well, there is. The reason we've done it this way is it is structured as a course. So the original grandiose idea was it would be like doing a university semester. So you'd buy it and you'd run through it in your own time, and you would sit an exam at the end. And to pass the exam, you have to get 80%. So university credit level. Okay. If you don't get that, you have to go back and do it again. So this is why it takes through in a chronological order. Okay. And there's a lot of content because within this course, there are 8 modules and there are 5 to 6 lessons within each module, including the video lessons. So there's quite a bit in there. But really, I suppose the objective here is to get you all to rethink the way you treat it. For example, Sever's disease, carpal tunnel that we all see all the time. You know, we've always been taught it's a traction injury. It's probably not. It's probably a compression injury. So it's a whole different way of thinking about it, and of course that affects the management of this condition. So I think if you do opt into this course, you will be quite surprised at how it will affect your management. If you're going through it on Sunday, it'll affect what you do on Monday morning for sure.
Sensational. Let me go through tick off my questions here. We covered Severs.
Yeah, just walk around and come here and climb all over me next.
How many hours? We covered that, the comprehensive nature.
I hate them.
Abdul Khalik. There was a question here. As a 24-year-old, first MP joints osteochondrosis.
They're nice guys, you know, they get a bad rap.
I think we might have already covered. Just reiterating for Abdul's benefit of, is that a misdiagnosis or can we get osteochondrosis in those that stop growing?
Well, you can, but I think it's a misdiagnosis or he misheard it. I think he's probably got osteochondritis dissecans of the head of the first head. So I would say that's far more likely. To my knowledge, there is no condition describing osteochondrosis of the first metatarsal head. So I think it would have been osteochondritis dissecans.
So for the investment of less than one new client, one new patient, this is $90. You're offering this introductory offer for this fully complete program. What's the catch? Because that is just extraordinary value for real time to create.
Well, there is actually a catch, and the catch is that if you don't grab it at $99. It's going for $199. That's the
Well,
other thing.
I don't mind.
So we're just offering it as a launch of the course. We want people to get involved. We want to make it available. So it is around to give you an idea, it took me well over a year to write this course. We went into a studio to record all of the videos, so they've all been done professionally.
Just in case.
That alone
Well, I
took me a whole
found
day to
once where I
record the
put
video.
some
So,
shorts on and I had a spider.
there's a lot of effort gone into it.
Well, that was the end
And-
of me leaving
and
my
one of the things
wardrobe
I'm most proud of
that way.
is that this course is completely current. So it's current as of right now. I have to also say that this is not all my effort. Whilst I did the writing, my business partner Paul Griffin, who is always in the background and doesn't get a lot of the credit, is very much involved in the whole process. And so I don't want to portray this as my course. It's our course at Bartold Clinical. Yeah.
Nice work, nice acknowledgement. Yep, Paul. All you need to do, click the link that's with this post. It'll take you straight to the payment page.
Yep.
Get in and instant access to the whole course. It's not drip fed or anything like
No,
that.
instant access. You buy it, you own it. It's yours forever. You can do it in your own time. So this is not a monthly subscription. This is something that you actually own, and you can do it. If you want to take a year to do it, you can take a year to do it, or you can do it in a weekend.
There it is. Coming from the man himself, I think you absolutely would be nuts. You don't actually get hold of this. It qualifies for CPD.
Yep, CPD certificates are issued once you've completed the course. We make it complete before we issue the certificate. Okay, but you will get a certificate outlining the whole kit and caboodle of how many hours you spent doing it.
Okay. What if I am such a conscientious, or maybe it's a little bit, and I take longer to get through the course? Is there a meter that's doing my time, or is it time allocated per lesson per module?
No, that's the time you spend on it. So it's not a problem.
This guy doesn't do anything by half measure. It's like full, high quality, high standard, high level.
Well, this is Paul. He's a real brain behind the operation. He does all the back end stuff that I've got no understanding of at all.
Well, speaking of back end, I might say, no, stop looking at me like that.
Now I'm really worried.
I don't even need it.
How long is the special introductory offer available for?
That's classified information.
Okay.
But it won't be long. We'll probably, we'll run it for at least another week or so, but it's not ad infinitum items yet.
Okay, well, that being the case,
Classified by that I mean I've got absolutely no idea.
beyond not his beyond his pay grade, but beyond his control. Excellent. All right.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you very much for being part of this.
I want to say thanks to Ted too for setting this up. So you're a legend, Ted, and make sure you go and get on all of his courses as well.
Yeah, God, that's good, isn't it? Hey, are we not just... Thanks, mate.
Oh, and by the way, the coffee, which is the real reason.
Oh, yes, the coffee report. What is it? What's the ratings?
I'm going to give this 7.5 out of 10, which for me is a very high ranking.
It's not a credit, though.
It's not a credit. It's not a credit.
Oh!
So I might have to have a little piccolo to see whether that lifts a little bit of the aromas and the flavour. We'll see how we go.
I'm confident this is actually going to go spectacularly well. Yeah. How about end broadcast? Yeah, end looking well.
Nice one, Ted.